Hey, welcome back. It's Jeff from Home Renovision. Today in our video, we're going to talk about blood, sweat, and tears. How to start a small business, how to be compliant and successful, not get in trouble with the law, and you can do this on the side and absolutely kill it, making a couple $1,000 a month. The market conditions are very unique right now. Just a real quick recap. We got a lot of people leaving the workforce. They're retiring. The younger guys that are in the trades, there's not as many as there used to be. And so they're adopting more and more responsibility in different roles really quickly. And that's leaving a huge labor gap. Right? And so as people that are retiring, getting older, don't want to get on ladders, they don't want to get down on the ground, they're looking to hire out the work. They're very rich. We have a huge, wealthy, retired group in North America. Not everybody, but there's a huge population of folks that are looking to hire workers. They can't find them. And so the young people today, a lot of them aren't interested in work. Maybe you should be getting interested in working with your hands because blood, sweat, and tears pays better than almost any other job out there right now. I'll tell you right now, if you know how to patch a hole in the drywall, you can make more money than a school teacher. So what you want to do is, first is you want to identify what are my gifts. And if all you got is the ability to get up on a ladder and clean out gutters, you know what? That's okay. If you have no skills, but you can clean out gutters, you are valuable. And the world is looking for someone like you. Right up to if you can install light fixtures or if you can do drywall work or you can install flooring. Whatever your skill set, you can do it on the side and make a lot more money than you do in your current job. So how do you get started, right? Make a list of everything you do well and practice them so that you're efficient. One of the greatest ways that you can practice before you jump into business is contact friends and family or neighbors, all right? And offer your services for free. Seriously, go out and practice working in someone else's home. Because there are different aspects to working in someone else's home that you're not thinking about. One, you walk through the door. Are you clean? Do you have site protection? Do you have little booties on your feet? Are you making a mess of their house? Are you afraid of the dogs that are in the other room? Who knows, right? I mean, everybody's got issues. Identify what kind of rules and parameters you're going to have to work with when you're in somebody else's house, okay? And have an honest conversation. It's like, was I clean enough? Was it inconvenient having me in your home? Did you mind me blasting my crazy music? You got to learn how to work around other people. It's not your house this time, okay? So my rule is this. I like a no smoking, no music, no talking on the phone in the room. If you got to take a phone call, leave the building. You're in someone else's house. It's not yours. Having that level of respect for your customer will translate in very happy clients, okay? So practice with your friends and family for free. And if you can make them happy, it's easier than strangers. But then what you want to do is you want to start going out and taking on small jobs, okay? And you want to have lower prices because with lower prices are lower expectations. And then if the clients are happy, you can start raising your prices. This is all about you grooming yourself for customer service. It may not be a skill you possess, all right? And trust me, when you're working for people in their home, it's different than when they're a client at someone else's restaurant. Generally, people are on their best behavior when they're in your store. So you might have an experience in the workforce where, yeah, I like people. You know, they're easy to talk to. They're always nice. But as soon as you're in their house, watch out, Jekyll and Hyde action. This is their domain, their kingdom. And it can be a really big transformation. So you want to have a little bit of experience working with that before you get too excited about charging big money. Because big money has big demands, okay? I'm talking about going out there and working, but we got to first understand where you live, okay? Every region has got a different rule. So where I am, I'm in Ontario, Canada. And generally speaking, I can work without any major licensing. I do have to register my business if I'm going to do a certain amount of dollars a year. And then I'm going to have to collect taxes for the government and then remit those said taxes. Okay, so that's pretty much the only rule. Across the river, we have the province of Quebec, and they have a lot more rules about their trades. They want everybody to be licensed. You've got to take tests, and they're a lot more stringent. Okay, they have a lot more quality control with who they allow to work in the province. There are rules down in the United States that everywhere from Alabama to Florida to California, everything's changed. They're almost the same geographical level, right? And the same housing construction, but three dramatic different examples of what the rules are. So you've got federal laws that you've got to pay attention to for registering your business, paying income taxes. You've got state laws as far as how much money you're allowed to make on a particular job. There's some restrictions there that say if it's going to be permanent part of the house, you got to have a contractor license. Generally speaking, the worst case scenario is you can only make up to $500 and it can't be a permanent part of the home. So it can't be flooring, but it could be painting or repairs, like drywall repairs or deck painting. Staining, that kind of stuff, right? Cleaning out the gutters, pressure washing. These are great gig economy in those areas. And as long as you bill every day, less than $500, that was the project. And you can comply. Did you hear that? Comply. It's important. When you're in business, You've got the freedom to make money, but you've got the responsibility to comply to the regulators. So make sure you check out, do I need a license? Do I got to take a test? Do I got to register a small business? Which generally is like 50 or 60 bucks, okay? Not a big deal. And when you register your business, they'll ask you, how many employees do you have? You put none. And then they'll say whether or not you got to have workers' compensation insurance, do you need liability insurance? All of these things, right? Yeah, I know. And there might be a few bucks involved with doing that, but I'm telling you how to do it right. Whether or not you take my advice is up to you. Everything in life is risk and reward. That's business. And if you take risks with not being compliant, you can suffer severe penalties. Okay, I'm talking fines, even jail time. So don't mess around with this stuff. Now, if you're just some guy who's going to work once a week and you're going to help little old ladies clean out their gutters, this sounds harmless, right? But you're going to be on a ladder. If you fall on their property and you don't have insurance for that work that you're doing, you're paying that out of pocket. Okay? So why take that risk? I'm telling you right now, you can charge enough money for your services that you can cover those little business expenses and have tons of money left over. So don't take that chance, okay? Now, the term gig economy is something I came up with, all right, related to trades. The truth is the industry operates it as a handyman. They consider anybody who's not a licensed trade or a licensed contractor but doing work in someone's home a handyman. And they're unregistered, unlicensed, they don't have a regulatory body. So you're officially a handyman, handy person, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's just the deal. That's the category you fall into. As a handyman, you have the right to make money, but you have a responsibility to declare that revenue. There is a temptation for a lot of people to do this as a cash economy, and I understand the temptation. But listen to me. If you're not making $60,000 a year in this world, you're broke. And by broke, I mean you can't afford to raise a family and have any quality of life. If you want a good life for your family, that means you have to be able to supply them opportunity that needs cash. $60,000 is the bare minimum. And that means, here's the simple numbers. If you make 30 bucks an hour and you work a full-time job, it's 2,000 hours a year, you make 60,000. If you're not making 30, you've got to supplement that income somehow. Well, if you can make 1,000 bucks a week, you can make $50,000 a year. I'm telling you, you can make $500 a day on the side doing this. That's 26,000 a year. All of a sudden, man, that is not hard to hit 60, right? So here's the deal. If you don't declare your revenue and you keep it as cash, you don't move up the income bracket and the banks don't consider you credit worthy. You can't go and buy your first house. You can't get that car loan you want. If you are able to charge with an invoice $500 a day, if you do the same job for cash, no one's going to give you $200 or $300. They know if you're working for cash, you're under the table, and so they won't pay you as much for your time. Some people will find the loophole, but I'm just saying, it's better to invoice, have a paper trail, be able to show that you're making money. Because a couple years from now, you could graduate from gig economy. Maybe you've made so many people happy, you're like starting to toy the idea of becoming completely independent business. But you can't be in a completely independent business and be successful if you don't have a paper trail. Banks want to see 3 years of history before they even want to consider you as successful in business. They won't give you any credit. So remember, here's the basic steps. Find out what the rules are for your state. Comply, register, okay? Get the insurances. Charge enough money that you can cover all your expenses and still make the good gig money that's out there, and understand a basic rule in life. As an employee working with your hands, you're worth about $1 for every year you've been alive per hour. So if you're 40 years old and you're working with your hands for a living, you're worth 40 bucks an hour. And if you're not getting it, maybe you should be asking your boss for a raise or finding another job that will pay you that kind of money. But as a gig economy, you need to understand, you're not worth 40 bucks an hour. You're worth double. When you work with your hands, you're worth double what you are as when you're an employee. People hire you and give you 20 bucks an hour. They're making the other 20 bucks an hour because they're charging you out for 40. Why in the world would anybody hire anybody if they're not going to make money on them? So keep that in mind when you're out there selling your services. Don't undersell yourself. You're valuable. People out there have got a ton of money to spend and they're desperate for your help. So don't undersell yourself. It's not a race to the bottom. It's a race to the top. Go work for a couple of months at whatever dollars an hour you think you're worth, and then up your rate. If you're going to get 10 people responding to whatever system of marketing you're using, and you're going to sign 3 of those contracts at your hourly rate, next month, try raising your rate and see if you still close 3 out of 10. And experiment and find out what the market is willing to pay. And whatever the market is willing to pay, that's where you want to be. That's the sweet spot. So as long as you're making the customer happy, you can raise your prices. And as long as they're willing to pay that price and they're still happy, you can raise it again. Experiment. That's all you got to do. Keep paper trails, keep track of things, pay your taxes, stay out of jail. The governments really they like to punish people who break the rules, okay? Especially in the trades. So comply, and charge them for every dollar you can get for them because they need you. So in the next video, we're going to talk about pricing and marketing, okay? And these are very important because if you're going to be running a small business, you got to treat it like one. You're not some 15-year-old kid just cutting the neighbor's lawn. You're in business as soon as you do this. So if you're going to dedicate 1 day a week, 50 weeks a year to doing this, you are in business and you have the right to charge and expense a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about all that detail, how to price your jobs, how to market your jobs. Got years of experience and some great ideas for you. Cheers till next time.